The road was empty that morning, just wind, snow, and silence. Beside a lonely pole, a mother dog sat trembling, her leash frozen stiff. Next to her, in a small cardboard box, two tiny puppies whimpered for warmth. Their breaths rose like little clouds in the freezing air, fading too fast. Cars passed by, one after another, but no one stopped. The mother's eyes followed each one, hope flickering, dying then returning again. She didn't bark, she didn't cry, she just waited. Waited for the person who promised never to leave her. Waited for the sound of footsteps that would never come. Snowflakes clung to her fur like tiny shards of heartbreak. Her body shivered, but she pressed closer to her babies, shielding them from the cold. Every second felt heavier than the last. The world seemed to have forgotten them, but love hadn't. Because even in the coldest winter, a mother's heart never freezes, and what happened next would melt the hearts of millions, a miracle born from kindness, a story the world would never forget. It all began with one stranger, and a single moment of compassion, a moment that changed everything. This is that story. The world was still, painted white with snow and sorrow. She sat there, motionless, loyal, waiting for someone who would never return. Her leash cut into the metal pole, frozen and cruel. Beside her, two tiny pups whimpered, their noses pressed against her belly. She licked them softly, whispering warmth in a world gone cold. Every passing car felt like a chance and a betrayal. Headlights would approach, hearts would rise, then fade again. No one stopped. No one looked. Her eyes followed the horizon, praying silently. The mother didn't understand why she was left. She only knew one thing: protect her babies. Even if her paws froze, even if her heart broke, the wind howled through the trees like a mourning song. The puppies cried louder, and she drew them closer. Her breath turned to frost, her eyes heavy with hope. She wasn't angry. She was just confused. Love had never meant abandonment before, but still, she waited. Because maybe, just maybe, they'd come back. And until then, she would not move. The cold could take her. But not them, not her babies, not her reason to breathe. The snow fell harder, and still she waited. A man drove by, lost in his thoughts. The heater hummed softly, keeping him warm. He almost missed it, the small shape by the roadside, but something inside told him to look again. He slowed, eyes squinting through the snow. There they were, three souls shivering against the wind. He pulled over, heart pounding. The mother dog lifted her head weakly, tail barely moving. Her eyes met his, pleading, broken, full of trust. He felt a lump rise in his throat. Who could do this? He stepped out into the cold, the wind biting his face. The dog didn't move, as if afraid her hope might vanish. He knelt beside her, feeling her body tremble. The puppies whimpered softly, tiny and helpless. He took off his scarf, wrapping it around her. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're safe now." Her tail moved just once, slow, grateful, exhausted. He untied the frozen leash with shaking hands. The metal was stiff, but his heart burned warm. She leaned into him, as if she understood, as if she'd been waiting. Just for him, and maybe she had. Because angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they drive an old car on a lonely road. He carried them carefully into his car. The warmth hit them like sunlight after endless night. The puppies snuggled closer to their mother's fur. She looked around, confused, cautious, but comforted. The man drove slowly, glancing at them through the mirror. "Hang in there, girl," he whispered. "We're almost home." Every bump on the road made her tense, but his voice, gentle, kind, made her trust again. When they reached his house, he opened the door gently. A blanket waited by the fireplace. He placed them there, one by one, like treasures. The mother sniffed the air, then lay down slowly. The puppies began to nurse, finally warm and safe. Tears filled the man's eyes. He didn't understand why it hurt so much to see them. Maybe because love shouldn't hurt this way. He gave them water, food, and silence. No words could fix what they'd been through. But warmth could. Care could. Kindness could. He sat beside them all night, watching their breaths even out. The snow fell outside, but inside, a miracle began to bloom. A second chance was being written, one heartbeat at a time. Sunlight crept through the window, golden and soft. The puppies stirred, tiny paws stretching. The mother dog blinked awake, her tail wagging faintly. For the first time, she wasn't afraid. The man smiled. He hadn't slept all night. He placed a bowl of warm milk beside her. She hesitated, then drank. It was a small victory, but a powerful one. Trust was slowly returning. He named her Luna, and her babies Hope and Star, names that fit the way they survived the darkness. Luna followed him around the house now, every step cautious but curious. When he sat, she rested her head on his knee. It was as if she wanted to say thank you, but she didn't need to. Her eyes said everything. Days passed, and warmth returned to their lives. The snow outside began to melt, but what melted faster was fear. In its place grew something stronger, faith. Luna had found her, human. Her story of pain was turning into one of love. The world outside was cold, but inside that little home, love had found a way. He took a photo one evening, Luna and her pup sleeping by the fire. He posted it online with a simple caption. Found them freezing on the roadside. They're safe now. He didn't expect what came next. Within hours, thousands shared the post. People cried, commented, and prayed for Luna's family. Messages poured in from every corner of the world. Bless you for saving them. This broke my heart. Love like this still exists. The story spread faster than the snow could melt. News channels picked it up. Rescue groups offered help, food, and donations. Luna and her babies became symbols of hope, of survival, compassion, and humanity. The man smiled, but he didn't seek attention. He only wanted them safe, but somehow their story was healing others too. Strangers began rescuing strays, feeding the hungry, helping the voiceless, because kindness, once seen, is contagious. And one man's act of love had started a movement, a reminder that in the coldest times, warm hearts still shine the brightest. Weeks passed, and Luna's story kept shining bright. Rescue groups came to meet her, smiling with tears. The puppies, now playful, chased snowflakes in the yard. Their tiny paws left prints of joy in the melting ice. The man watched them with quiet pride and sadness. He knew soon they'd need forever homes. Goodbyes are never easy, even when they're beautiful, one by one. Families began to visit, children laughed, holding the pups with wonder. Their innocence mirrored the hope Luna had fought for. A kind couple knelt beside her, their eyes warm. "She's perfect," the woman whispered, stroking Luna's head. Luna wagged her tail, slow, trusting, soft. For the first time, she leaned into a stranger's touch, The man smiled, though his heart ached inside. He knew what it meant. She was ready. Ready for a new life, a new chapter, a real home. The couple promised to love her forever. And when they left, Luna looked back one last time. Her eyes met the man's, full of gratitude. No words were needed, only hearts understood. The car door closed, and she was gone, but her love stayed, echoing in every heartbeat left behind. He whispered softly to the empty room, "You made it, girl." And outside, snow began to fall again, but this time it felt warm. Luna's new home smelled of warmth and kindness, soft rugs, gentle voices, and hands that never hurt. Her new humans treated her like family from day one. The woman brushed her fur every evening by the fireplace. The man took her for long walks beneath open skies. At first, Luna would pause, as if waiting for the leash to tighten, but it never did. Freedom felt strange and beautiful. Her puppies visited often. Now grown and healthy, they played in the garden, chasing each other with laughter. Luna watched them proudly, tail wagging slow and steady. For the first time, she didn't feel afraid of tomorrow. Every meal, every cuddle, every nap felt like a gift. She learned that love doesn't leave, it stays. It shelters. It heals. It forgives. The family hung her photo on the wall, our angel Luna. She became part of their story, not just their house. At night, she slept beside their bed, dreaming softly. Her dreams were no longer cold or lonely. They were full of light, fire, and tiny paws. The world that once broke her had given her peace. And in her quiet heart, she whispered, thanks to the man who stopped that day. Because he hadn't just saved her life, he had taught her to trust again, and she would never forget him. Months later, fate crossed their paths again. The man received a letter from Luna's new family. They invited him to visit, to see how far she'd come. He arrived with trembling hands and a heart full of memories. The moment Luna saw him, everything else disappeared. She froze, then barked once, sharp, emotional, joyful in an instant. She was running full speed toward him. Snow flew beneath her paws, her tail a blur of happiness. She jumped into his arms, whining softly, almost crying. He held her close, his face buried in her fur. Tears fell, warm against the cold winter air. She hadn't forgotten, not a single moment. The family watched, eyes glistening with awe. It was a reunion written by love itself. He laughed through his tears, whispering, "Hey, girl, remember me?" Her paws pressed against his chest as if to say, "Always." Time hadn't erased their bond. It had deepened it. For a moment, the world stood still. There were no strangers, no pasts, no pain, only love. Two souls who had saved each other meeting again. He stayed for dinner, surrounded by warmth and wagging tails, and when he left, Luna watched him go with peaceful eyes, because she knew now goodbyes weren't always forever. Sometimes they were just promises to meet again. Luna's story didn't end in that small home. It became a message that touched millions. Animal shelters used her tale to inspire change. Schools taught children about kindness through her. Billboards showed her before and after Pain to Peace. The man and Luna's family worked together for rescue drives. Dozens of abandoned animals found homes because of her. People stopped their cars for strays now. They didn't look away anymore. Social media was filled with her story, the miracle dog. But to Luna, none of that mattered. All she knew was that love had finally stayed. Every wag of her tail told a story of healing. Every lick, every nuzzle was a thank you to the world. She had become more than a survivor. She was a symbol, a voice for the voiceless, a hope for the forgotten. Her name became a movement, whispered by kind heart. Children left food by gates for hungry strays. Elderly people knitted blankets for shelters. Every act of kindness carried her spirit. And though she never knew fame,
Luna had changed the world, one heart at a time, because her story wasn't about sadness anymore.
it was about the beauty of second chances. Sometimes love arrives quietly, disguised as a stranger on a cold winter road. A single act of kindness can melt the deepest frost inside a broken soul. Luna waited for days in silence, but fate was whispering through the wind. It said, "Hold on a little longer. Someone kind is coming for you." And that someone proved that compassion still breathes in this weary world. He didn't turn away like the rest. He stopped, and love began again. The warmth of one heart rewrote the destiny of 3 trembling lives. It showed that miracles aren't found in riches, but in simple humanity. Every life we save echoes far beyond the moment we decide to care. Even the smallest spark of kindness can ignite hope across the world. Luna's eyes once reflected despair. Now they shine with endless gratitude. Her story became a river of hope, flowing through millions of hearts, because kindness travels farther than pain, stronger than fear, deeper than time. We often think heroes wear armor, but sometimes they wear old winter coats. They stop their cars, kneel in the snow and whisper, "You're safe now." That's how angels walk among us, quietly, without wings or reward. They heal without medicine, give without reason, and love without limit. If every person paused for just one life in need, the world would heal, for compassion multiplies. One act at a time, one heartbeat to another. Luna's rescue wasn't just a story, it was a mirror to our humanity. It asked, "When did we stop feeling?
And when will we start again?"
And the answer came softly, carried by snowflakes and tears. Now. Now is the time to see, to feel, to save, to love beyond ourselves. Because love isn't a word, it's a choice made when no one else will. It's the moment your heart says yes, when everything else turns away. Luna's story will live forever, not for pity but for proof of kindness, that in every forgotten corner,
Hope is still waiting to be found, and sometimes
all it takes is one gentle soul to set it free. Though
man didn't rescue a dog, he rescued the world.
through her eyes, he reminded us that compassion is the only language hearts understand. So, if you ever pass by suffering, don't look away, but stop and feel, because maybe, in that frozen silence, a miracle is calling your name. The cold may return each winter, but love burns stronger every time, and the ones we save often end up saving us in return. Luna's leash was once a chain, but now it's a symbol of freedom. Her pups grew under stars that once witnessed. Her pain and her strength, they live as proof that kindness can
Rewrite even the cruelest stories. Let
her journey remind us that hearts heal when hands choose to help, because no act of love is ever wasted. It always finds its way home, and when it does,
even the coldest night becomes a memory of light. A memory of light.